ahead and get started with our hearing for libraries. And we have with us today Mr. Kent Oliver as well as Ms. Susan Dry. And as we did with the previous hearing, I'll turn the floor over to Mr. Oliver and then open it up to questions. Mr. Oliver, you have the floor.
Thank you. First, before we get started, I'd like to introduce a couple of our board members who are in the back. Joyce Searcy, who is our new board president, and she's recently elected, taking the place of Keith Simmons, who had been the board president for a number of years, and Kate Azell, another board member, very active in the community, and we're pleased to have Kate with us today. Susan Dry is our assistant director for administrative services and is the keeper of all things numbers, so thank you for being with us today, Susan. I'm pleased to report and proud to report to you today that throughout the COVID crisis, the library staff have risen to the challenge of safely delivering library services to Nashville and Davidson County. They are and have been resilient, creative, and collaborative. And I am incredibly proud of them and the work they continue to do. Shifting to socially distanced programs during this period, the models of NPL Universe and curbside book delivery proved successful. From June 2020 through April 2021, NPL averaged 20,000 curbside customers per month, checking out a total of 728,000 items. During that same time, over 2.1 million e-media checkouts occurred through the online system. We also added 57,850 e-media items. Those are electronic items that were added to our collection. Keeping pace with the increase of virtual communication in our society, NPL Universe delivered library programs through online platforms, and from June 2020 through April of this year, 4,500 programs were developed and made available to 197,000 users. Existing library services such as Limitless Libraries, Bringing Books to Life, Studio NPL, the Nashville After Zone Alliance, Digital Inclusion, Summer Reading, the Summer Reading Challenge, Adult Literacy Services, Be Well at NPL, Metro Archives, and other library services were all staffed and functioning. Along with NPL's Civil Rights Room and associated program training, which was taking place virtually, the Votes for Women Room opened in August 2020, celebrating the passage of the 19th Amendment here in Nashville. The library is currently opening branch locations in phases as staff become available. Regional branches are open and with modified service hours, and those include Bellevue, Bordeaux, Edmondson Pike, Green Hills, Hermitage, Madison, and Southeast. And next week we will open Goodlettsville and Pruitt. The addition of further locations will be driven by available staffing. NPL is still recovering from the budget hiring freeze and currently has 61 open positions. I do want to add that throughout this budget year, I have appreciated the additional engagement of the Council's Parks, Library, and Arts Committee. And Committee Chair Van Rees has been engaged and helpful as we've navigated our way through this pandemic experience. And regarding this year's budget process, I would like to thank Mayor Cooper's administration and Metro Finance Office for their support and interest in our budget challenges. The library's budget presented to you today addresses many recent as well as longer-term needs the library has faced. We are grateful for and appreciate their confidence in us. The library does remain focused on the uncertainty of long-term materials funding, which we hope will be addressed through the expansion of the 4% to a 5% fund. However, I am pleased to report that with recent and proposed support of the existing materials fund, we expect to continue adding e-media titles and resume building collections such as the Lucky Day collection. Regrettably, the future of curbside book delivery service is at risk. When all library buildings are fully operational, curbside service faces elimination in the new budget year without the requested staff positions to continue it. I'd also like to take a moment to thank Council and Council's Finance and Budget Committee for their work and ongoing support of NPL. We look forward to the new fiscal year with anticipation, and we're happy to take your questions.
Councilmember Van Rees.
Oh, thank you very much, and thank you for your kindness. The committee was extremely engaged in the webinars that we did, as mentioned before, and I appreciate that. And again, encourage people to watch them. I appreciate the ongoing work. A number of different times we've been able to tell people, it's like, when will the libraries open? It's like, the libraries didn't close, actually. We've been doing a lot of work.
Right.
So I appreciate the rolling out, and I know that you've been very cautious with that. One question that I did have that's coming from a number of different communities is when the community rooms will be available again to use for meetings and the like. And I know that I've mentioned to my constituents, I'm taking that as a clue. When the library rooms are open, then we'll start meeting in person again, even with some spacing restrictions and kind of capacity situations that you may feel more comfortable in. But I know that you've done a lot of the work that you've done on the reopening based on best practices across the country. And I know that the country continues to look at the Nashville library system as the best practice. And so I'd love to hear about that.
Well, thank you. We are actively looking at that right now. In fact, we were having some exchanges yesterday, and we're looking at July or August. We had been taking bookings for the main library conference center beginning September 1st, and we're actually looking at perhaps moving that up to August 1st, but we haven't changed that yet. But I would expect that we will have a definite answer for you in the next few weeks.
And when will the Votes for Women room be open to the public?
It's open now.
Right, thank you.
I have Councilwoman Suara, then Councilman Bradford, and then Councilwoman Benedict.
Hi.
Hi.
Thank you all for being in again. Thank you for, again, another place and very innovative programs to keep our children engaged throughout the pandemic. So we're very grateful for all that you're doing. In looking at your budget, I think it shows, but my line of question is the same thing like I had for parks. Apparently, because of the COVID, we have a loss of revenue, and we have a loss of grants and funding in our programming, and we try to make do as best as we can. But when I look at your program pages, and I'm looking at where we're trying to make up all of this information, NASA, which is a program that I love and that I do appreciate, on the program page is actually getting a cut of $118,000. This cut is coming from just the special purpose funded. That's the way it's always been funded. So my question is, and I hate to say that, so I would love for us to give you that back. But I was just interested to see that 2020 was at 116, 2021 is 118, but 2022 is a zero. And so do we need to try and find you that money from somewhere else, or what is that change?
That was actually,
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
that was actually a JAG grant that we got from the federal government, and it's ending as of June 30th, so that's why that money is going away.
So what about the program that it funded? Is this something that we don't need to do anymore? Is this something that we need to find a way to continue?
Well, NASA continues to seek grants, and they're typically very successful at it. And I think what you're seeing is a cycle on the payment that's reflected in the budget more than anything. The exciting news about NASA in this budget, if you were looking on the budget changes, is that we are fortunate that we are changing the model slightly and bringing it totally in-house and shifting the funding from being contractual to actually being personnel-driven.
I saw that, and I'm very excited about that because it makes it very stable. And so the line of my questioning, which is something that I'm trying to do with all our departments, 2020, 2021 has been a very difficult year. And as we're coming out of it and we're trying to shift, especially when we're looking at external funding and grants and things like that, I don't want to have a situation wherein it actually affects the programs that we do. And so I want to be very cognizant of that, that if it's a program that needs to continue, that we, my colleague and I, try to find a way to fund that for you. So that's the essence of the line of questioning. But thank you so much.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, Chair, for recognizing me. Appreciate y'all being here. I've just got a couple of questions for you. So in regards to this budget and your master plan, my questions are, how far behind are we on, like, where should we be? How far are we behind on where your master plan has us being in 2021?
In regards to the facilities master plan, we are probably 4 or 5 locations, 4 or 5 branch replacements behind. Our approach with the master plan, which 2017, I believe, was the first year that we unveiled it. And for those that are not familiar on council, the library, in conjunction with the planning department, did a thorough master plan about how libraries should be built out in 2040 in Davidson County. And with the idea that we were looking at the condition of the buildings and the growth geographically and demographically of the county. And at that time, our proposal was that we would gradually make replacements and build them out, as opposed to coming to you and asking for a large issue of, say, $100 million to replace a number of them at one time. So right now, that would be kind of the ballpark figure. We're behind with Richland Park, Hadley Park, Thompson Lane. Inglewood is on that list of being nearly ready, that we would be about there, and some of the others I know out in the airport area and the growth that we're seeing out there would be something we'd want to consider. We also have a number of renovations in that plan, and Hermitage is the one that jumps out at me immediately that's well overdue for a renovation. And I think one of the things that all of us, or those that are long-term residents, fall into is thinking that, for instance, the buildings that were constructed in the 90s are new buildings. Those are no longer new buildings. Those are 25-year-old buildings that we've been trying to renovate. And the Hadley Parks and the Thompson Lanes, for instance, were built in the 60s. The Donaldson project that's going on right now was so important. That was a 60s era project. Hadley Park is even older than that. Hadley, we're trying to find a location for, and I know that there's been some interest in council, and we would love to move forward with that project. But we simply need the funding to build the buildings and move forward with it.
And that follows up into my follow-up was this current budget proposal. Does that have any meaningful advancement of your master plan? Is there any money in there that will help you get us closer to where you want to be?
No, it's separate in the capital budget. We do have a little. I don't want to confuse the issue, but we do have some remaining planning money that we've been using from a previous allocation in capital that we've been working on Richland Park and Hadley, and there's a little bit of that money left. But as far as being able to do any construction, we do not have any.
And earlier you mentioned that you have 61 current position openings right now.
Correct.
Is that in addition to any openings you have? Do you have a total number of positions to get you to fully staffed? Is it 61 or is it more than that?
The 61 would get would get us to where we were budgeted in this last year, plus the additional requests in the mayor's would be additional to that. Our big challenge, similar to the parks, but when the hiring freeze hit us, we had a number of openings. Then throughout the pandemic, we lost positions. And then recently, we've lost a few positions prior to being able to rehire. And at the same time, we're trying to promote from within when it makes sense. So we're moving staff up into higher positions and trying to give them that opportunity. So we will dig ourselves out eventually, but it's going to be a process.
But do you have an actual number of positions that you will need to be perfectly staffed? Or is it the
if
61?
we were to be perfectly staffed, well, I guess I'll give you two examples. We benchmark consistently against other urban libraries. We do it every year, like libraries, similar types of communities and sizes, and we typically find that we are 10 to 20% below their staffing levels, and that's all across the board. And we try and be efficient about the people that are in what we call support services, behind the scenes work in our public services side. But just to give you an idea, one of the areas that we're really short and we need to make a move in a few years, a number of our community branches are still not open on Fridays, which is, we think, very disappointing for the communities. And Susan, I think, has the number specifically on that. We've presented that number previously, and it's updated. It's 15 FTE in order to get those community branches open on Fridays. Mm-hmm.
I appreciate that information. That's all my questions.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Benedict.
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon. Thank you for
afternoon.
being here. Thank you for your hard work for the
Thank
city.
you.
I'm excited to see some things in the budget. I want to follow up on Councilmember Bradford's question. If this budget is approved on July 1st, you'd be looking to hire 70 people, 61 open plus 9?
61.
Sorry, hire or promote, rather.
It would be 81.
It would be 81.
81, okay. So we've got a recruitment opportunity.
Yep.
Okay. Nashville, listen, we need you. Inglewood, the Inglewood Library in my district, this area is growing like crazy with kids, as you know, and I know that we're talking about a potential facility soon. In regards to the facility that we have today, I want to make sure everybody's aware the activity per square foot is higher than anywhere else in the city. I'm going to say that again. There's libraries that are smaller in square footage. There's libraries that have more activity. But as it relates to activity per square foot, we are doing phenomenal work. Your staff is doing phenomenal work in that location. I see that there is, in your budget request, an expansion for children's services. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I absolutely support that. I'm going to do my best to get my colleagues to support it as well. The hiring question was my only question, and then the
Okay.
commentary. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Councilwoman Johnston.
Thanks, I didn't know where I was in the queue. Thanks for recognizing me. Hi.
Hi.
Okay, so just so I'm understanding, you have 63 open positions right now. You're asking for an additional 18. That brings that number to the 81 that you're correct?
Correct.
Okay, I just want to make sure that I'm not
Correct.
messing that up. So the 15, when you said 15 FTEs would get you to where you could open up those libraries on Friday, is that in addition to the 18 that you're asking?
Yes.
So in order to do that, we would actually need 30, whatever that math is. I'm glad I have a finance
additional,
degree.
correct.
I can't do math. Okay, that's good to know. I'm noticing that there is a $700,000 drop in the special purpose fund and also about $760,000 in program revenue, down from last year. Can you tell me where that's coming from?
That's actually a budgeting issue. I think it was addressed by Parks earlier, but when we have to put the budget forward, we don't have grants in place. We can't budget them and put them out there until they're actually passed by council. So that's we will get those back, but right now, we can't budget it.
Back to FY21 levels
Well, it may not be exactly that, but we will get some of that funding back.
with both special fund and, or special purpose and the program revenue, correct? Okay, so a swing in almost $1.5 million. Where would you spend that $1.5 million?
That comes, a lot of that comes from either grants or it comes from our foundation. So we usually spend that on programming out around the city.
Right. And the question that was asked earlier about the Friends, most of our external money comes through the foundation. And a few years ago, our Friends groups in the foundation consolidated, and they fund us to the tune of about $2 million a year in programs. And many of the programs that I listed when I was going through the programs that are still active are the programs that the foundation either totally or partially funds.
Okay, all right. I think that's all I have. I do want to say I've personally had interaction with NASA, and it's an incredible program. And I know that Anna does an amazing job. She's super dedicated, and I certainly wouldn't want to see anything happen to that program except for it to be expanded to include more kiddos because they absolutely love it. I've been there a couple of times after school with those kids, and it really is special. And so any programming that's going to support our kids, I'm all for. So thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
Mr. Oliver, do you anticipate receiving any federal funds from the American Rescue Plan?
We are applying for with a number of programs. Interestingly enough, when the major program was completed and passed, there are a number of specific funds for technology for public libraries and libraries. And so we are definitely going after that funding.
In the queue, I have Councilwoman Henderson and then Councilwoman Porterfield. Councilwoman Henderson.
Thank you, Chair. Director Oliver, you had mentioned about, kind of some of the good things with COVID, right? The NPL universe and some of that online programming that you did. And while I absolutely concur with my colleague, Council Lady Benedict, about programming for young children, and I found myself, that's when I was really at the libraries more, when I had young children. But, programs for tweens and teens, as now a parent of teenagers, I really appreciated the online programming that you have.
Great.
So I see that you have one FTE kind of sustain that. Do you think you can sustain the programming at that level with that one position?
I'm sorry, I lost where you were. Oh, in the request?
Yes, in your request for, you mentioned specifically in the impacts and highlights for
The
NPL
special
Universe.
collection, or pardon me, the NPL Universe position?
Yes.
Yes, we actually have what we call production services in place, and we have several staff that are already there.
Okay.
And this is in addition to that. But the people that are already there are the ones that have been helping to put the programs up with the programmers. They're in normal, whatever normal is, and prior to the pandemic, if you went to a program at the conference center in the auditorium, they were the ones running the sound and lights.
Okay.
So this will be a great addition, and it was badly needed, because we do anticipate going forward, we will continue to have some online programming and continue certainly in-person programming.
Okay, that's good to hear. You had mentioned also about, in COVID times, the curbside service and the retention of that and the impact that would have on your FTEs. And so you alluded to that, but then didn't necessarily say specifically how many positions that was to maintain that. And then I guess my question also would be kind of from a prioritization standpoint, like if I had to pick between branches being open on Friday and people pulling up in their cars to get books, I would pick the former rather than the latter. And so,
Interesting. Okay.
But could you speak then
Sure.
specifically to those?
The curbside request that we made was for, I believe, about $526,000 in 10 positions. And basically, we wanted to run curbside out of 4 different locations. And we picked them geographically and by those numbers where we'd seen the greatest use. And that included Edmondson Pike, Bellevue, Bordeaux, and Green Hills. And those were the 4 locations where we wanted to maintain curbside service as we went into this new budget year. The challenge that we're going to have is we do not consider that we're overstaffed. We have just enough staff to keep our buildings open during normal hours. And so what we wanted to do is add these staff as we went to normal hours. Curbside service is very intensive because our buildings, some are better than others to deliver the service, but there are people moving around, collecting the materials, moving back and forth, and that sort of thing. So we thought 4 locations kind of covered the county and would continue the service where it was shown to be popular.
Okay, and then so the implications, so, that's 10 positions, but then you said 15 to keep branches open on Friday. And
Yeah,
just
I mean,
sort of
it's, yeah.
I assume that y'all did some sort of analysis as to, number of people
Absolutely.
served and the demographics that
Yes.
you were covering with that. And you all felt strongly that maintaining curbside was more of an asset to the community than.
At this time, we do. We've seen curbside as important, and certainly if you are, and if you're a family, you come up into the library and you're a family of 5 and you have to haul the kids out and go in and pick up your books and go back. Curbside is certainly an important service. On the other hand, I will say I cringe when I think that we do not have all of our locations open on Fridays. If we are truly a full-service library providing access, our locations should be open on Fridays, all of them. So, but we made the decision to go with curbside. The dollar figure is slightly less.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Councilwoman Porterfield.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Director Oliver, for all of the work that you all do. And, the services that you all provided were very vital all the time, but especially during COVID. So thank you so much. Councilmember Henderson did touch on a couple of my questions regarding the curbside service and how you all were, prioritizing whether or not you would be able to move forward with that service. I did have somewhat of a follow-up to Councilmember Bradford's mentioning about the new branches, which of course would be in the CIB, but there will be an operational cost when we see new branches opening up. So this was somewhat asked in our last meeting, but in our parks budget hearing. But does this budget allocate anything from the operational standpoint to help support new facilities that will be coming online through the capital improvement budget?
No.
Okay, so so there's no plan for any new facilities to be opened up this upcoming year?
No. What you will be seeing perhaps next fiscal year will be an operational request regarding Donaldson because it will require more staff than the existing Donaldson. But right now, there's nothing in the budget for new facilities as far as operational.
Okay, thank you.
And I apologize, I did not mention Smith Springs when we were talking earlier.
Thank you. I just wanted to make sure that the Smith Springs Library stayed on track. It's supposed to be 2023, so I just want to make sure that we're still on track with that.
We are.
And then my other question was, we talked about this a little bit last year during that budget hearing about you all ramping up to being able to take online payments, and I know that was kind of addressed last year.
Right.
Has that gone into effect? Do you guys need any additional support for those operations?
No, ma'am, we're taking payments.
It's great, yeah.
Okay.
Thanks to Metro Finance Department and IT, we're going.
Okay, thank you.
We are at time. I am scanning the room for hands. Mr. Oliver, are there any, and maybe you already have some in place, any opportunities for partnership with MMPS to help with library programming?
There are some in place. Limitless Libraries is a flagship program that's known nationally, and we are actually providing books to their libraries, and we cooperate very closely with NASA, our NASA program with MNPS, and a number of other areas, but and even Studio NPL and the work we do with the schools and our maker spaces. And as we go forward, we're certainly paying attention to what's going on with technology and how we can interact more closely with that.
And for the post-budget passing, the 81 positions, do you have a plan in place for how you're going to recruit for those positions and, you know, get a diverse pool of candidates?
A lot of those positions, we already have already been posted.
Okay.
Because say it's a circulation assistant we need, that's already been posted. If it's a library associate, it's already been posted. So we will have a very long list to choose from.
And are those jobs they posted on the Metro website? Okay. Okay. And do you work with any other organizations to get the word out, or is it just posted on the website?
No, ma'am, we have several venues that we go throughout the country.
Okay.
Not just Metro. If it's for example, if it's a library manager, we will post it nationwide.
And going back, final question to the ARP funds, those, you said you were looking at some different grants. Do you know the total amount of those grants?
I do not. I know that we just resubmitted one to Humanities for, I believe, $400,000.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Oliver and Ms. Dry, for coming in and answering our questions.
Okay, thank you.
Next up, we have Art, so I'll give them a chance to get up here and once again give everyone a couple of minutes to catch your breath.